Call this meeting to order. Ms. Tanya Jordan, would you do the invocation for us?
Dear Heavenly Father, as we come before you, we thank you for your presence and your direction over this meeting tonight. We ask that you impart wisdom to us over decisions to be made. As council members, you have entrusted us to help the people of the Cherokee Nation. Help us to make the best decisions for your people. We pray for each family that we represent. May their needs be met in whatever issues they face in their daily lives. We pray for our soldiers and ask that you keep your hand of protection upon them and return them home safely to their families. God, grant your favor upon the Cherokee Nation and our country. We commit the duties of this meeting to you. When we leave here tonight, may we have peace in knowing that we have done what is best for our people. We pray for safety as we travel home tonight, and we thank you for these blessings. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Roll call. Bill England.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Julia Coates.
Here.
Bradley Cobb.
Honey.
Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Jody Fishinghawk.
Here.
Meredith Fraley. Here. Janelle Fulbright. Here. Don Garvin.
Here.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Here.
Tina Glory Jordan.
Present.
Curtis Snell. Chris Soap.
Here.
David Thornton.
Present.
Kara Cowan Watts.
Honey, we have a quorum. Next order of business is approval of minutes of the March 10, 2008 regular session.
We approve.
Have a motion to approve the
Second.
moved and seconded. Any discussion on the March 10, 2008 minutes? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is State of the Nation, Principal Chief Chad Smith.
Yes, sir. Use that tail.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to appear in front of you to bring the State of the Cherokee Nation. It's April 14th, 2008. This time, let's have a moment of silence for those who passed on in this last month for their family and friends. We know of those who have passed to the other life as Gladys Pearl Thorpe Ward, Daniel L. Taylor, brother to Lita Umbertiski, our Cherokee Nation Registrar, the former Cherokee Nation employee Janice Walters. Is there anybody else the council would like to share with us that's passed this last month? If not, let's take a moment of silence. Well, we have a great pleasure tonight in acknowledging a family of veterans, and they may have had their own branch of the service, and this is the Millers. Glenn Miller is the son of Lloyd Miller Sr. and Ardina Miller. Glenn attended school in Tulsa area and joined the Marine Corps while in high school. He served in Vietnam and received the Purple Heart. After returning from home, Glenn received his bachelor's degree in business. Very active in the powwow circuit. He's a straight dancer. He's a rifleman at the Tulsa Color Guards and is active with the Tulsa Shriners, where he has entertained many children as Hobnob the Clown. Gloria Miller Jones was born and has lived most of her life in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Graduating from McLean High School, she attended OU in Norman, and she enlisted in the Coast Guard. In 1979, Gloria enlisted in the United States Navy, where she had attained the rank of Chief Petty Officer. Gloria is currently employed as a public health nurse at the Indian Health Care Center, Resource Center in Tulsa. Lloyd P. Miller Sr. was born to the Reverend Edward and Martha Miller in Delaware, Oklahoma in 1923. He graduated from Central High School and enlisted in the Army Air Force on December 5, 1942. Lloyd served with the glider operation in the 9th Air Force European Theater of Operations with the 439 Troop Carrier Group, 94th Squadron. He was discharged from active duty in 1945. After service, Lloyd married and began his family. He is the father of 8 children. Lloyd Sr. was a paint contractor and decorator and a union member for 50 years in the Tulsa area. He is well known and respected for his work. Lloyd is a perpetual member of the Masonic Blue Lodge, the Scottish Rite, holding a 32nd degree. He now resides in Chelsea, Oklahoma. Lloyd Miller Jr. graduated from McLean High School in Tulsa. A year later, he joined the United States Army. Immediately after basic training at Fort Bliss, Texas, he served in the 103rd Signal Brigade in South Vietnam. Lloyd, his cousin Sammy, and his brother Glenn all found themselves in the military service in Vietnam. After his military service, Lloyd graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Technology. He has worked as a mechanical engineer for the Crosby Group in Tulsa for 34 years. I'm not finished. Andrew Holt Jr. is the son of Ralph Holt and Donna Miller. Andrew lived and went to school in Tulsa, studying business office technology. He joined the Oklahoma National Guard in 2001 and was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. Andrew received his military education as a heavy construction equipment operator. He was ordered to active duty with the United States Army in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. Among many duties, he was in charge of inventorying all ammunition and sensitive items, repairing roads and bridges, equipment, transportation, and excavation. Andrew's military decorations of medal include the National Defense Service Medal, Army Service Ribbon, and 2 Global War on Terrorism medals. He is currently waiting his orders from Washington, D.C. to serve his 2nd term. Stephen Miller is the son of Lloyd and Ardina Miller, and it'll take a genealogist to keep this all straight. But we know it is one patriotic family. Following in the tradition, Stephen entered the United States Army National Guard after high school. During basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey, he developed a health problem that cut his Army career short and was given an honorable discharge. He then enrolled and graduated from Tulsa Career Institute for Drafting and Design. He went on to study computer science. Sergeant Major David L. Miller is the son of Lloyd Miller and Ardina Miller. After high school, he entered the United States Army and volunteered for the Airborne and Special Services. From 1990 to 2006, David served as a Special Forces operator in several positions within the Special Forces. David has completed several overseas tours in the Republic of Korea, 2 tours in the Federal Republic of Germany, Washington State, Puerto Rico, and is currently serving in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he's currently on the special staff as the United States Army Special Operations Command Assistant Inspector General. He has 2 combat tours where he served as the J-5 Sergeant Major for the Combined Joint Special Operations Task Force. Sergeant Major Miller's awards and decorations include the Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal with 4 oak leaf clusters, Joint Service Commendation Medals, Army Achievement Medals, and 2 National Defense Service Medals. David will be retiring at the end of 2008 with 29 years of honorable service. He will be awarded Legion of Merit and receive a letter of appreciation from the United States President. So let's give a warm welcome to the Miller family and ask that you all come up at this time. Would each of y'all come forward, please? The Miller. Okay. If y'all will stand and come up. Stephen A. Miller, Sr. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Chief. Sir, would you care to say a word?
Well, I just want to, Chief, I want to thank you and their committee back here for this afternoon. It's been quite outstanding for me, and I'm proud of it would serve our country. Thank you.
Care to say a word?
Been most gracious of you for the recognition. It's almost tearful. Thank you. I'm proud. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Very proud to accept this honor, Chief.
Thank you very much. I never had anything like this since I've been back in Vietnam. This is the first. Thank you.
You have yourself considered?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for this honor for recognizing the Native Americans that do go out there and serve their country, whatever.
Thank you very much.
I have to apologize. I didn't read the bio on Tanya Sue Holt. She is the daughter of Ralph A. Holt and Donna Miller of Chelsea. She joined the United States Army in 2003, where she was stationed at Fort Jackson, North Carolina. She trained extensively, and became a squad leader and served in the 3rd Battalion, Charlie Company, 2nd Platoon. While in training, she broke her right leg in 2 locations, received an honorable medical discharge. She returned to Oklahoma, returned to school, and received her associate's degree as a pharmacy technician. She's currently working as a lead pharmacy tech and seeking her bachelor's degree in pharmacy. She looks forward to transferring to the hospital on base at Fort Bragg. So thank you so much. Another Miller. Now, not from the Miller family. Leonard Littledave, also known as Snicker, graduated from Jay High School, where he played basketball and was president of the student council. Snicker enlisted in the United States Marine Corps his senior year. He was stationed in North Carolina and was deployed in the Mediterranean. Snicker has been on 3 other combat deployments, all to Iraq. Some of his military awards include the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal with Combat Valor, with 2 gold stars, the Combat Action Ribbon, the National Defense Medal, the Iraqi Campaign Medal, 2 Global on War Terrorism medals, the Sea Service Deployment Ribbon with 3 stars, and the NATO Medal for Kosovo. Mr. Littledave, would you care to come forward, please?
You're getting old when you can't open the plastic bag. We're good help for you. Service to our country.
I'd like to thank everybody for giving me this. I don't think I'll be able to wear it like that, but I can show this on my wall. Thank you.
Last week we had the opportunity to meet with our Eastern Band cousins in Catoosa for the joint council meeting, and it was quite a moving event. And rather than I describe it, Madam Chairman, would you care to say a word about it at this time, or would you like to reserve comments to later?
Sure. The Eastern Band, Cherokee Indians, and the Cherokee Nation met for 3 days in Catoosa this past week, and we met to join forces of how we can better serve our Cherokee people, no matter where they may be. And we approved certain resolutions covering health care, repatriation of body parts, opposing that from the University of Ohio. But there were very important issues that were discussed, and we were very united on all issues. And it was a historic meeting, and Ms. Callan Watts and Gail Miller of our staff organized the meeting. They did a fantastic job. And Kara, would you like to say a few words?
I was just honored to have the opportunity. It was our 13th joint council with the Eastern Band, and I appreciate Speaker Fraley having the trust and confidence in me to help our staff in organizing that event. If you were able to participate, I hope we made it open to you, and we were thankful because it was actually not only being video streamed live online for us for the first time, but we were also, our staff, the IS staff under Chief Smith's administration, was streaming live to their cable television in Eastern Band Cherokee. or in Cherokee, North Carolina, so they'll see that all month. And it was just a moving event to be involved in. It was my second, but I have to say we threw a really good meeting. Thank you, Speaker Fraley.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also, this weekend, we had the opportunity to visit with some of our at-large Cherokees in Bakersfield, California, and Long Beach. And I remember, my dad has now passed for 17 years, but I remember him talking about in the 1940s, the Cherokee picnic, that 3,000 to 5,000 Cherokees would show up in Bakersfield because that was the end of the second Trail of Tears, the Grapes of Wrath in the 1930s. And we had a very good evening. We had some great hog fries. But Councilman Coates, would you care to sort of give us some background on that, and Councilman Baker, since that's, I guess, your district?
The rest of the world, that is.
Yes.
Yeah, we had some very good attendance at both of the picnics, and I think it was a very, very enjoyable time for everyone that was there. I know that these kinds of events are appreciated so much by our constituents out of Boundary, out in California in particular, where we have so many folks there. And I just think it's a tremendous way to make connections with a very substantial part of our citizenry that is no longer here at home.
Yes. It was good to meet all the people out of the district that live in California, but also it was a great way of showing them that we haven't forgotten them and that they are still a part of the nation, and they feel very much a part of the nation. So that's why it's great for us to be able to do this, and they did enjoy it very much, as did we.
Mr. Councilman Thornton, he attended also, and he found a whole new slew of relatives, I believe. Would you care to say anything?
Well, I often wondered what the people out there were like. They're just like us. I guarantee you. And I was, I was kind of surprised out there, and visited with several and met several from my district that, these are people that had to move out there, a lot of them, during the Depression. And it was kind of like a second, they call it Grapes of Wrath, but it was kind of like a second movement. Like we moved from North Carolina and Georgia into here. And it was, for them, it was kind of like a second movement. And most of them stayed out there. But if you'll study where our Cherokees are now, just about all of them went west from Oklahoma. There didn't any of them go back east to work or make a living. They all went west, they went south, a few went north. But I really enjoyed it, and I've been teasing Chief about, I heard last week that he never met a Mike he didn't like. So I'll just kind of be quiet here and go. But I really appreciate it and appreciate the visit, and there's some real good people out there, people. And you should have saw their faces when I told them I voted against it. I did that on business, but when I told them that I voted against, sending that money out there for those picnics the first 2 or 3 times, boy, I got some grim looks out there. But it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot out there. I appreciate the opportunity to go out there.
Perhaps when we have a little bit more time, you could tell us what it's like to be on the road to Damascus. To see it all. Councilman Cowan.
Thank you. I also attended, and I had to laugh when Councilman Thornton made the remark because I recalled him being absent, so I guess he told us some information he intended. But I think if there was a shadow of doubt in my mind on why we should support our at-large Cherokees, and in particular those communities that were impacted by the 63 location that Chief Mankiller's family went through, and as well as others, or the next Trail of Tears during the Grapes of Wrath, which affected my family from Sequoyah County as well. My dad lived in Long Beach and Watts during part of his childhood as well and returned to Oklahoma. If there was any doubt in my mind on why we should utilize Cherokee funds and revenue to support those communities, that doubt is gone now. I was able to take my mother with me And it was fortunate because she provides me an outside perspective and keeps me lined out on making sure that I understand what my position is at the tribe for the people. And she had agreed, she concurred that the folks, our at-large council people, have a role in the community in 2008 in the Cherokee Nation, and that those communities need our outreach in order to help us in bigger issues that we face, not only today, but we'll face later. And it's critical that we maintain those ties. So I appreciate our gracious hosts, both Jack and Julia, and Chief Smith and Deputy Chief Joe Grayson, because like Councilman Thornton, I don't know what I expected, but I was very pleasantly surprised, and I was excited to participate, and I was glad it was such a success.
Thank you. One of our major initiatives is revitalizing our language, and this evening we have the great opportunity to provide the certificates of competency to a number of our immersion school teachers. And this is they become a certified teacher of Cherokee literacy. And at this time, I'd like each of you to come forward and let us present you this certificate. Joe, if you could help us. Joe, could you come down and help us? He's first called Nora Birdtail. Dora Dunn. Joanne Fields. Bonnie Kirk. Meta Nix. Phyllis Pettit. Reba Rogers. Mary Pettit. Peggy Sawney. Thelma Soap. And Wanema Weber Smith. These are the teachers at our immersion school. And of course, they've done an outstanding job, and it gives me great pleasure to report that our immersion school children took the top 3 positions in the language competition in Norman several weeks ago. There were over 1,000 children from different tribes competing. And they reported to me they got first, second, and third. And I said, well, how come we came in third? Well, because their classmates took first and second. They swept the top 3. And so we're so proud of them. Would any of y'all would like to say a word about the immersion school?
That we're very proud of it, and we're succeeding.
Let's just go down the line here and ask everybody to say a word.
I think they're doing a good job.
I'm a first grade teacher, and I'm proud to be doing this.
I'm a pre-K teacher, and I'm really supportive of it. We're doing the best.
Preschool teacher, and I'm very proud to be a teacher for the immersion school. I volunteer at the immersion school. Actually, I'm in the language degree program out at NSU, and I've been working with the ladies and
It's really been a good experience for me. I have really learned a lot. They're doing a real good job.
At la gute go away is Skype at the day on Husky. They would that out on.
Since that's a great teacher right there. Okay.
I'm a preschool teacher. Preschool is one that starts them off and then we send them on to pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade and so on. So I'm really proud of working in this field.
I tell you what, not only do they teach Cherokee, they instill confidence, and if you get out of line, I tell you what, they know how to impose discipline. They're great teachers. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Y'all can sit down. And as we're talking about revitalizing our language, I'd like to recognize a volunteer in the translation department. She comes in every day, works a 40-hour week, doesn't get paid a nickel, and she has a great time at it, because I know, because it's the First Lady of the Cherokee Nation. So at this time, I'd like to extend and take a license and a privilege and extend a certificate of appreciation to Bobby Gail Smith for her contribution to revitalizing our language. And program highlights the emergency management which helps the Cherokee Nation citizens and our neighbors. They helped out last week with problems caused by last week's floods and storms. Our staff helped clear trees and debris and delivered water. Chris Sams, as an example, Jerry Copeland and David Standing, Water of Community Services, worked alongside the Illinois River Fire Department, volunteer fire department, to surround a home with sandbags to keep the flood waters at bay. The sandbags weighed approximately 80 to 100 pounds apiece. Our emergency management group in Cherokee County Emergency Management donated more than 1,000 cases of drinking water to our local volunteer fire departments to prepare them for the summer fire runs. Their work is much appreciated. Our community services staff worked with the volunteers around Uchi to build a new community center. The nation provided $87,000 to fund the materials for the building. Road work is planned in Owasso thanks to a joint venture between the Cherokee Nation, the City of Owasso, and Tulsa County. The Cherokee Nation contributed $153,000 toward the improvement project, which city officials say will greatly benefit their community. Cherokee Nation EMS recently received reaccreditation for another 3 years with zero deficits. Cherokee Nation STEPS conference had 165 conference participants from schools, work sites, and health cares. The conference helped bring about an understanding of everyone's role in policy and processes that will support healthy lifestyles and choices. The Cherokee Nation and Eastern Band passed a resolution that supports the development of a memorandum of understanding to promote strategies for healthy communities for both tribes. Road work is ahead of schedule for the section of 145 East Avenue in Owasso, thanks to a joint venture between the Cherokee Nation, the City of Owasso, and Tulsa County. And other announcements, I'd like to share with you that this week, Northeastern State University will hold its annual symposium on the American Indian. Our staff always participates, and I hope if any of you can find the time in your schedules to attend, please do. Tulsa's Juvenile Diabetes Benefit Gala is set for, I think it's May 12th. Can somebody help me with the correct date? It's early in May. I'll get you the correct date. Healthy Nation will be holding 2 fitness camps this summer, Cherokee County in Welling, May 27th through 30th, and Rogers State University, June 9th through 13th. These camps are open to Native American students 9 through 12. Cherokee Nation's Healthy Nations program is getting residents interested in buying local produce. We will partner with Stillwell Library on April 26, where local growers will bring in produce to sell. A family walk event in the farmers market will take place from 8 till noon. This coming Saturday, Cherokee Nation's Wings fitness program has more than 300 runners and walkers signed up for the Flower Power Run in Muskogee. And the Cherokee Women's Leadership Conference is this Saturday in Catoosa. And I'll defer to Councilman Watts to explain that conference.
The RSVP deadline is already closed, but if there are seats open, it would be first come, first served for food. We'll still accommodate people, but they may not have a plate, and that was the rules we set when we begged for sponsorship. So, and that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Chief Wilma Mankiller is moderator of a panel, and we will have, now if my memory serves me, we'll have our Secretary of State, Melanie Knight. We'll have Dr. Gloria Graham, our medical doctor on staff, and Cherokee from Hulbert. We will have Molly Jarvis, who, I can't remember her title, but she is the top Cherokee
Vice
woman
President of Marketing
in Cherokee Nation Enterprises. And we'll have Sharon Wright, our Cherokee Marshal, who's here somewhere as well. And Wilma will be moderating that panel. It'll be a candid discussion. And then we're going to put Chief Smith on the hot seat from 11:30 to 1. He's providing us lunch so we can ask him hard questions. And he will do his presentation and then open the floor for a roundtable discussion. And at this point, as of yesterday, there was 209 people RSVP'd for the conference. And then we will have a networking event with CEOs of the enterprises and their boards of directors and their executive staff, as well as the Supreme Court has been invited, the full council, the chief, and the deputy chief. There are 2 $500 scholarships that will be drawn. You have to complete the page of networking and get everybody's signatures. Then you turn that in for a ticket, and there will be 2 separate $500 scholarships drawn for, and you must be a Cherokee tribal citizen going to be enrolled in this coming fall at a university. Thank you, Chief Smith.
Thank you. And as the last bit of information, on May 6th in Washington, D.C., in the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, an appeal has been taken by the Cherokee Nation in the case of Van versus Cherokee Nation. And the issue is whether the 13th Amendment and the 1866 treaty was an implicit waiver of sovereign immunity over the issue of citizenship. So we'll advise you as the results of those. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Smith. Next order of business is action of unfinished business that are none pending. We'll move on to committee reports. And the first report is the Housing Authority, Mr. David Sutherland. Good evening, David.
Good evening. Got a brief report this evening. Regular board meeting will be tomorrow evening at 5:30. It's at the, as usual, at the Allen Hogner Administration Building. We had staff that are continuing to assist families whose homes were damaged last week in the storms. Bulk of our damage was in Muldrow, right around Muldrow in Sequoyah County. We had 10 homes on Deer Run Road in Muldrow that either has already received new shingles or will before in the next day or two. 2 of those homes sustained extensive damage on the inside, and we were able to move those folks to empty homes in the neighborhood, so that worked out okay for those folks. We do have another addition just off Wilson Rock Road, and it has lots of tree damage. I think they got a lot of that removed. I'm not really aware of the extent of the home damage because the other addition was hit so hard we kind of concentrated on that first. We've had several calls from individual homeowners that participate in the Community Shield program that live between Muldrow and Rowland, as well as other parts of Sequoyah County. Their reports will go to Ameren, and if they call us, we give them their phone number. The reason I mention that, if you all get calls from constituents that they're not being able to get through to Ameren, please let me know and have them call me. I'm going to be attending a meeting at Ameren next week, and if we're having problems communicating with the folks in Albuquerque, we need to know that. On May 1st, our offices will be staffed very lightly. Only those staff needed to take payments will be on site. The rest of the staff will be in orientation here at the council chambers on May the 1st. We've had about a dozen staff already transfer to the Nation or CNE. A few of the employees that chose to voluntarily separate from the Housing Authority will be leaving this Friday. The remainder will transfer on May 1st, and that's the need for the orientation. There was 171 employees when the transition began. 127 have accepted a comparable job, which means that they're in the same location and the same pay. There were 30 that accepted non-comparable jobs. 12 chose to voluntarily separate, and we had one to decline a non-comparable offer and will leave employment later this week. Again, May 1st is the day to transfer, and that's the day that there will be very few folks in the area offices if you're trying to get hold of someone. That's my report for the evening. If you've got any questions, I'll sure try to answer them.
Any questions or comments for David? It's not. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Next report is Cherokee Nation Enterprises, David Stewart.
Good evening.
Good evening, David.
I know we have a busy schedule tonight, so I'm just going to report a couple of things that I think you'll be very impressed with. We have had a record month in February, not only in revenue and net income, which correspondingly results in a record dividend of about $3.5 million to the tribe for February. So I'd like to officially give our employees a round of applause, if you could. We're going to stream this. It's just great to represent our employees. They just do a tremendous job. And I selected a night when we had a lot of people here to bring some very important people in the company. We contribute substantially to the community. And over the years, we've developed an internal team. We have a full-time staff that assists our employees in all the efforts that they do to help the community. And they've elected several organizations throughout the year to support. And one of those organizations is the American Heart Association. And another one later in the year is the American Diabetes Association. And this year, I made a crazy gesture of agreeing to match what these employees raised for the American Heart Association. So when I do that, they take it as take it very personal and try to do the best they can. So what I'd like to do, if Tiffany Revis, would you come down? Tiffany? And Lisa Long? Tiffany spearheaded this with our employees. Lisa Long is the head of our community development program there at CNE. And I'm not going to take any of the thunder here that you're going to give, but I can tell you that these employees that are here tonight have worked tirelessly to raise money for the community and this association. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Tiffany, to recognize these employees.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Lisa Long, and I wanted to introduce Tiffany also. She is our company leader, and this is the second year that she has led the Heart Walk, and I'm going to let her take this and go with it because she's got some amazing things to let you know about.
The 2008 American Heart Association Heart Walk was held this past Saturday at Veterans Park in Tulsa. This year, CNE employees, through their fundraising efforts, raised over $35,000. They did this through chili cook-offs, bake sales, you name it, they found a way to raise the money. Compared to last year, which was my first year as company leader, we raised $18,000. So we more than doubled our efforts. And with David's matching, you can just imagine how much we are going to end up with. The support from our fellow coworkers this year was absolutely amazing. They were excited. The interdepartmental teamwork we had was just phenomenal. And it shocks me every year as it grows and grows. Cherokee Casino also sponsored what they call Eat Street at the walk. And we provided breakfast for the walkers. And it was the talk of the walk. Everybody was wanting to go to Cherokee Casino to see what we were offering. And it was phenomenal. Out of 85 companies who participated in the Heart Walk, Cherokee Casino placed second. Now, second is hurtful to us, but we were first from January to last week. And a company called McJunkin Redman came in, wrote a check for $70,000 and beat us out. So through our efforts, we were number one, and that's what we still consider. Tonight we have 20 team participants and guess you're captains. Captains, I would like to recognize. If you'll all stand and introduce yourselves.
Come on down.
Or come on down. Come on. And they're all wearing our Heart Walk t-shirts that we wore this year at the walk. Those with the red medallions raised over $500 and were considered top walkers. We had over 20 top walkers and over 7 people who raised over $1,000 individually. So that is phenomenal. Would you all go down the line and introduce yourselves?
Cherokee.
And where you work?
LD&E.
Regina Thompson, Corporate Gaming.
I'm Terry Wright. I'm a CSA overnight. I was with the Casino Falls One team. Clean and No Fire, Corporate Compliance in Katupa.
I'm Rita Lamb. I'm the marketing manager for Cherokee Casino Tahlequah in Fort Gibson, and I was also the team captain for the Tahlequah Heartbreakers.
I'm Gina Edgar. I'm the food and beverage manager from the Tahlequah Casino.
Dee Dee Lucas, Food and Beverage, Silent Springs.
Becky Nance,
Food and Beverage Supervisor, Silent Springs. Debbie Lanier, Food and Beverage, West Highland Springs.
Mike Wheeler, Shift Manager at Fort Gibson Casino.
Roxanne Chavez, Shipping and Receiving from Roland Warehouse.
Hilda Covarrubias, Roland, Shipping and Receiving.
And we also had Brian on the hill, who's up there hiding. And Emily Bushyhead was also one of our top walkers. We had teams at every property this year representing corporate, the casinos, everywhere. And realizing the impact diabetes has on Native Americans, we're hoping to support the American Diabetes Association this coming fall and have the same outstanding fundraising efforts once again. Thank you all so much.
Very good. A couple of important dates. May 27th is the last day for horse racing at Will Rogers Downs, so we hope you get out there. We have a subcontracting fair for our Taro organizations on the 24th at the casino in Tulsa. The purpose is to bring subcontracting and contracting opportunities to our Native-owned companies as an effort to help them get business. So we hope to have a good turnout for that. And that's my report. If there's any questions, I'd be... Okay. This is the Where the Casino Money Goes pamphlet that we put together. We started out last year in an effort to educate everyone about where the money goes. I mean, what are we all about, and where does the dollar end up? So do we have enough of these for tonight? Or? Okay. You have a copy of this. It's very personal. I think it reflects what we're all about and all of our employees are about, and I think the people here can show that. So take a look at that. It's very important. Any questions about?
Dr. Cobb has a question.
Oh, it's in the paper? Okay. Okay.
David, Dr. Cobb has a question.
David, I just wanted to say that I appreciate your staff and their hospitality during our joint council with the Eastern Band.
Okay. Thank you very much. We were very excited about having our fellow Eastern Band people there.
Ms. Corey Jordan.
David, I also want to echo that. It was very nice. And I'd also like to ask, would it be possible at maybe one of our next committee meetings, not the one we're having tomorrow, but the next month, for you to maybe have your people that are in training under your department heads to come and visit with us so we could meet them?
Sure. In our leadership development program?
Right.
Sure. We sure can.
Okay.
Other questions, comments? Thank you, David.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Cherokee Nation Industries, Brian Collins.
Good evening. My report tonight is to cover our financial statement in brief. Cherokee Nation Industries March sales was $7.5 million. Total sales year to date, $41.5 million, which is still tracking about 20% less than the comparative time frame from last year, primarily due to a reduction in a lot of the construction business at this time. But we are working on going out to capture and build that unit back up. Local employment, Tahlequah, we have 32. In Stillwell, there's 266 for a total of 298. So we're maintaining an 80% Cherokee employment. A couple things I want to mention to you. As I mentioned in previous meeting, we received the Boeing Supplier Excellence Award, which is a contract specific to a Boeing facility. We just received notification of a Boeing Supplier Performance Excellence Award, which all encompasses all the Boeing facilities that we do business with, that we are a top-tier supplier for the Boeing industry, or for the Boeing company. And so we'll be going to San Diego to pick up another award for the hard work that's going on. Some of the things that we've been doing, that you've probably heard about, is we've been renovating the old Walmart facility in Stillwell. It's very close. We're starting to move in. A lot of that was done so we can lean out, create efficiencies, and grow capacities for what we need to do. Well, we're growing at such a fast rate that we're not going to be able to totally move out of the facility we're in to renovate it. So we're making some changes in our plans, because with the contract load and the awards that we've been receiving from the hard work, it appears that we're going to be needing to add 75 to 100 more employees by this summer. And that's just to be able to keep up with the contract load. So our customers see growth, they see excitement, they see capacity, and our customers also come in and they analyze our capacities. And contracts are awarded based upon capacity, not just past performance, but capacity. So we always have to keep looking at what we have to have room for capacities and for training programs, because they want to look at that. And I know Ms. Kelly's been helping out, working on some areas of where we can increase and improve some training, and I appreciate that. But just want to give you a heads up, and we'll be having an opening soon. I'm hoping, 30, 45 days, we'll be able to have a little grand opening of that facility and show you what we've got accomplished, and I'm quite proud of that. That pretty much completes my report for this evening. Our next board meeting is on May 19th in Stillwell, and the time to be determined, and I'll notify you next month or as soon as I have a time frame on that. So, any questions?
Do you have a question?
I heard the $41 million in sales. I didn't hear bottom line.
Total sales year to date, $41.5 million.
And I didn't hear the bottom line.
Profit.
Profit.
I do not have that with me at this moment.
Okay.
I can report that in the E&F.
Okay.
Or I'll get back to you. I do not have that with me right at this moment.
Any other questions, comments? Brian, I appreciate you bringing the Sikorsky representatives during our joint council meeting at the Heritage Center. Mm-hmm. What were they here for? It was a potential contract?
Well, they were doing an audit. They were coming in and doing just an audit on the system. But they have given us a lot of additional work, but they're also looking at our capacities, what we have room, because they have a lot of work. Certain product lines that they've given us is about there's opportunities to quadruple what they've given us, and so we're pushing for more of that.
I think they have a several $billion backlog that they need to complete, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Thanks for the good work over there, those employees.
All right, thank you. Mm-hmm. I'll get back to you, Bill, on that. Okay.
Next report is Cherokee Nation businesses. Jim, are you reporting? Mr. Carrington, Jim Carrington.
Thank you for having me. Brad is actually out of the country as we speak. Probably the three highlights of the last month since the last report include the finalization of the audits, which have been delivered now, I believe, to the nation. Also, we have been working on the landfill transaction, and as we speak now, the transfer documents are almost completed. We are negotiating those right now. And lastly, I would report that a lot of our time, as you might guess, has been taken up negotiating the Bank of America loan agreements, and we hope to close those within 30 days. And that's also a topic of tonight's resolution, so we appreciate your patience and your consideration on that transaction. And that concludes my report, unless any questions.
Any questions, comments for Mr. Carrington? If not, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Stepping in for Brad. Next item is old business. It's a resolution for the independent environmental study of the Adair County landfill, or Cherokee Nation landfill, excuse me. Ms. Fishinghoff or Mr. Crittenden?
Madam Speaker, I've got a resolution here in front of me. Looks like it was authored today. Has no sponsor. And it was my understanding that this was to be submitted for the one that's included in our old business part of the paperwork. And at this point in time, the one that's in the old business section was actually, it came before us in committee back in December. And we've kicked this thing around back and forth, and it's my position that had we done this survey quickly after we got the legislation done, we could have had the environmental done, the cell built, and possibly taking trash, if that be what we came up with by now. And here we are now, just at this point. At this point in time, I can't sponsor this new thing that I'm looking at. It's kind of like I call it sort of a watered down version. So, I guess we're going to just roll it out there and see what happens. I like what's in the book. I liked it when we done it. And I'm going to move for its approval at this time. We'll see what we do.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Madam Speaker?
Yes, Ms.
Just to
Calmont.
clarify, that's the one in the book that we've got and not the one that's handed out.
Correct.
Okay.
Any discussion?
That had a date, didn't it? Or am I confusing it with the one I got?
A date. Which one?
For the deadline for the recycling? Or am I confusing it with the one we've got handed out in front of us?
Ms. Watts, I don't see a date, but and there is one correction that I would like to look at and consider, where it says that the landfill would remain closed until such time as the study is completed, and that's been stricken. It says retain its current level of operation. And so, and I'm assuming the current level of operation is nothing but the sludge acceptance, which is sort of something that we kind of have to do at this point in time. So I would accept that wording, as far as I'm concerned, that we go ahead and accept that because they're treating our leachate. So again, I would move that this one in the book be approved, and we'll see where it goes.
As written, correct?
As written.
Any further discussion? We had a second. Any further discussion? Any discussion? Yes,
Yes,
Mr.
I've got a
Stokes?
question as far as, the CNB has made plans to continue the operation of the unit. So how does that apply? Does the study, is it intended to proceed concurrently with the plans for development, or would that inhibit any future development plans for the landfill at this time? Can somebody answer that question?
Joe or Jody, do you have a comment?
I wish maybe Mr. Carson was here, but he's not. But my understanding is that what I was told was that we got someone that can address that right here.
If I may.
Yeah, we do.
My name's Dina Geib, and I'm with Cherokee Nation Businesses. I've been working on the landfill with Mr. Carson. We anticipated that this analysis would run concurrently with our plans to construct an open new cell. It would inhibit, as you're suggesting, our ability if we have something in front of the council that tells us that we cannot open the landfill until this testing is complete.
Clarify, Mr. Soap.
Yes, the other clarification that I would like, Madam Speaker, is that it's my understanding that the motion was tabled previously.
I'm sorry, what was it?
The motion was tabled in previous meetings.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Mr. Baker?
Yeah, but I'm assuming that we're going to do this environmental testing, and I'm assuming that CNB wouldn't open it up if it's an environmental hazard or it wasn't economically feasible, or so. Do they not need this as well?
The testing that we've had previously shows that there are no environmental problems with the landfill. We are performing this testing to assure the residents there that there is no problem with anything at the landfill that we haven't already, they're going to do historical trending and things like that. If something were to come up in this testing, we would also need the funds to take care of and remedy those issues. And that is our goal, is to continue operations of the landfill and, in fact, test more thoroughly and remedy those problems if they exist, rather than that coming out of the nation's pocket.
Yeah, go ahead and fix it.
Clear, Mr. Baker. Mr. Hoskin?
Yeah, Madam Speaker, let me direct your attention to the final further be it resolved by the council paragraph. There's an underlined section, retained its current level of operation as of January 14, 2008. It's the January 14, 2008 language that holds you up. Is that
right?
Correct? If that language is stricken, and let's suppose it said retain its current level of operation until such time, and you can read the rest, that would take away the concerns that you have completely. Isn't that true?
Potentially. We anticipate that the initial construction will be complete in 3 to 4 months, and we are trying to assure individuals that want to bring their waste to the landfill that we will be open at that time. So in 3 to 4 months, if we can have that testing completed, then that would not be a problem.
And you could come back to the council if there was a need to modify this as far as updating the current operations. If we left it as current level of operations, then we're frozen in time right now if we passed it tonight. But certainly you could come back and say we need to revise this, and we would listen. Consider that?
Yes, I do have some reservations about the language, the current level of operations until the testing is complete, because the testing is kind of general, and we want to make sure that it's a very thorough job that's done with the testing. So that's my only hesitation, is that we want to make sure we get the results back and get the results that we need.
Well, you've heard Councilor Crittenden. He was ready to do this months ago, so I think you should have every confidence that we'll act with dispatch. We'll get this done quickly. And with that, Madam Speaker, I wonder if Councilor Crittenden, Councilor Fishing would entertain a friendly amendment to strike the date language in that paragraph to remove any concerns.
I would accept that.
As would I.
Just to be clear, Mr. Hoskin, you want to leave all the wording except the as of January 14, 2008?
That's correct.
So you're amending and you accepted?
I accept it, yes, ma'am.
All in favor? Any other questions? All in favor of amending this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And now we'll vote on the resolution as amended. Do you have a motion as amended?
Madam Speaker, did we have a friendly amendment for that language? So I thought that vote was for approval of the entire resolution.
You're correct. Okay, motion carries, right? We got them all. All right. Well, the friendly amendment took care of it.
We could take another vote. We accepted that as a friendly. And then went to the motion.
Yeah, point of clarification. I'm aware that you accepted to strike the language as a friendly amendment, but yet the Speaker asked for us to vote on striking the language.
On striking the language.
Also, which was not necessary.
Call for
We
the
have not voted on the resolution itself.
Call for the question.
Question's been called. All in favor of the resolution as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Baker and Baker. Okay, moving on down to Dr. Cobb.
Yeah, I'd like to amend the agenda if at all possible and add item number 11. It's a resolution authorizing the Cherokee Nation to submit a formal grant application under the Self-Governance Program Planning Act. I believe you have those handouts.
I'll second that with a friendly amendment, and also add the grant resolution.
You haven't finished yet, have you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you weren't going to add 2? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's...
There's the Department of Energy wind power grant in front of you for the $1 million.
I would accept that.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 11 will be the resolution covering the self-governance, and the item 12 will be the resolution covering the Department of Energy request. All in favor of amending the agenda, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, item 1 under new business is an act amending the motor vehicle and tax code. Ms. Glory Jordan.
This is an act amending Legislative Act 0101, which was the act dealing with the division of the Cherokee Nation Motor Fuel, our Motor Vehicle Licensing and Tax Act. Specifically, it includes, because for some reason they were left out previously, the immersion program and the Cherokee Nation Head Start program, so that there would be, they would be calculated into receiving a portion of these yearly funds. I would put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? This is an act, so roll call.
Bradley Cobb,
Yes.
Joe Crittenden,
Yes.
Jody Fishenhoff.
Yes.
Meredith Fraley.
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright.
Yes.
John Garvin.
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Yes.
Anna Glory Jordan.
Yes.
Curtis Snell.
Yes.
Chris Suff.
Yes.
David Thornton.
Yes.
Kara Cowan Watts.
Yes.
Buell England.
Yes.
Bill John Baker.
Yes.
Jack Baker.
Yes.
Harley Buzzard.
Yes.
Julia Coates.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Our kids, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Item 2 is a resolution confirming the nomination of Pamela Bickford as a board member of the Economic Development Trust Authority. This confirmation is a 2-year appointment from March 08 to March 2010. I would move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of this confirmation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 3, Ms. Coates, some additional confirmations.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I would ask that we consider items 3, 4, and 5 in total. These are confirmations of Frida Van, Patsy Edgar, and Jim Ketcher as board members of the Cherokee Nation Community Association, and I would move to confirm those nominations in total.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on these 3 nominations? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6 is an amendment to the Environmental Quality Code by increasing the commission from 3 to 5 commissioners. Mr. Snell?
I would move that we approve such legislation.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any discussion? Do you want to do this by acclamation?
Yes.
by acclamation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7 is a resolution that annexes certain Cherokee Nation property into the city of Collinsville. Mr. Anglin?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I would move that we pass this. This will help the
Second.
with their new community building they're building.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 8 is a resolution in support of invoking the Most Favored Nation clause in the Tobacco Compact. Ms. Fishinghawk and Mr. Hoskin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as you know, the chief issued a letter within the last couple of weeks invoking the Most Favored Nation clause of our Tobacco Compact. That's an important measure, and I'm so pleased that the chief joined the council in desiring to take that action. We need to stand up for our position in the Tobacco Compact because it's about jobs, it's about the Cherokee people, it's about our sovereignty. And we need to stand strong and unified when it comes to holding the state of Oklahoma to the letter of that compact. And, Madam Speaker, I think our position is sound, that the state of Oklahoma has engaged in conduct which triggers that Most Favored Nation clause. And just briefly, as you know, that means that the tax portion of the compact should be changed to reflect the better deal, so to speak, that the Kaw Nation got by virtue of a renewal, an automatic renewal of their compact. Again, I think our position is sound. My sense is the state of Oklahoma does not agree. That should not stop us from standing up for the Cherokee people, standing up for revenues for the Cherokee people, standing up for jobs for the Cherokee people, and standing up for our sovereignty. So at this time, I would move to approve this resolution. I would also entertain a friendly amendment to correct a minor drafting omission error, and I would direct your attention to the final whereas paragraph, Madam Speaker. I'd entertain a friendly amendment to strike the phrase "to wit" at the end of that sentence. Certainly, we want to memorialize that it's the Kaw Nation Compact, but any additional wording is just extraneous. So I would entertain that friendly amendment.
I offer that friendly amendment.
That's my second.
Moved and seconded to strike the words "to wit" in the last whereas, correct?
That's correct.
With a period after the word clause.
Right, with a period after the word.
Any discussion? This question's been called. All in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 9 is a resolution authorizes an increase in certain lending transactions. In October of 2007, the Tribal Council approved entering into proposed loan or financing transactions with the Bank of America at $125 million. What this resolution does is increases that line of credit from $125 million to $174,135,000, a $49,135 increase. The primary purpose of this increase is to refinance the existing line of credit, casino expansion projects, and for capital projects and other needs. And I would move that we approve this line of credit.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Hoskin.
Madam Speaker, I support this resolution, but I do want to note that back in September, a similar resolution was presented. I opposed that one. I attempted unsuccessfully at that time to get some language inserted that I felt would preserve the council's right in the future to increase the dividends from Cherokee Nation businesses. The reason I proposed that at that time is because I was convinced, based on my discussions with Cherokee Nation businesses, information that I learned from them, that in fact this lending instrument would be an impediment to increasing our dividend. I was convinced of that, and I thought we ought to preserve the right to increase it in the future by putting Bank of America and Cherokee Nation businesses on notice that we could do that. We learned at our last Executive and Finance Committee meeting that, in fact, there is no such impediment. In fact, the council could increase the dividend that Cherokee Nation businesses pays back to the Cherokee people. We could do that, Madam Speaker, even under this loan instrument. So now that we've really come to this revelation, I have no hesitation in supporting this resolution. But I do think the record should reflect that we do not any longer have that impediment to be worried about. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Hoskin. Any other discussion? Yes, Mr. Baker.
I would like to clarify that this increases the line of credit to $125 million plus the $49,135,000, but it also has an increase option of $50 million that we may elect later on.
Correct.
So it actually increases it to $224,135,000.
Yes. Ms. Fulbright, did you have a question? I thought I saw a hand up here. Okay. Any other discussion, further discussion? All in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
One opposed. Motion carries. Item 10 is an act amending the budget. It's in Mod 6. Mr. Baker? Jack Baker?
Yes. This budget mod increases our budget by $6,579,015. The majority of that is for contract health, which increases it by $5 million. We have $500,000 for the Constitutional Defense Fund, $200,000 for the self-help emergency assistance, and $200,000 for stoves for the heating assistance for fuel to be purchased this summer. We have land development of $411,000. So those are the major items included in this bond package. And I make a motion that it be approved.
Second. Moved in second. You want by acclamation? Mr.
This does not include the million, right?
No, it does not.
Okay.
It's $500,000
Okay.
only.
Any other questions, comments? You want this by acclamation?
Yes, please, by acclamation.
By acclamation. All in favor of approving this budget mod signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 11 is a grant application for self-governance program planning and negotiating of cooperative agreements. Dr. Cobb.
Exactly stated. This is two grant applications under self-governance program, and I would move for approval, please.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on this application? Mr. Baker.
This is pretty much grants to study taking over federal programs and such as that. And although I'm highly reluctant over Hastings, we get this, and whether we do it or we don't. So that being said, I'll be in support of this.
Any other discussion? All in favor of this grant application signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Item 12 is a developmental grant application to the Department of Energy for renewable energy. Ms. Caln Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This grant, I apologize up front. We're waiting on board approvals, and now it's gotten late to the council as full council. But it's not something we're unfamiliar with. We have wind energy. This project's been going on for some time. It's been highly successful and has the potential to be 50 or more jobs. So this is a Department of Energy grant for $1 million, requiring a 50% match. The 50% match seems significant, but it can be in kind, which we already have a lot of that identified, and it does not have to be a 50% match up front in order to obtain the $1 million. It can be towards the end of the project. So I'm excited to be sponsoring this. I'd like to move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Are there any announcements? Ms. Calmont.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just a logistical note in that our meetings tomorrow will begin at 9 a.m. here in the council chambers due to an accident over the weekend, and we just ask that you keep, I won't name the person, but the tribal citizen who, due to health issues, did drive into the council offices, and so due to structural issues, we have migrated over here to invade the administration's area. So please give your prayers to that family during this time of need, and we'll be all right over there. So, but we will be here tomorrow.
The rules and executive finance meetings also will be held here because they'll be doing construction at the council house during that time. Any other announcements? Yes, Mr. Hoskin.
Just briefly, Madam Speaker, I think it would be remiss if we didn't note that earlier this month, the Chief of the Cherokee Nation went to the state legislature to speak on an important issue, the English-only bill. What happened there renders that legislation and the legislature's treatment of it less important than how the Chief was treated. The Chief was disrespected in my opinion. The Chief went to speak not just as a citizen of the state of Oklahoma and a citizen of the United States, but as the head of a sovereign nation. The state legislature treated the head of a sovereign nation with disrespect, and when they did that, Madam Speaker, they treated you and I with disrespect, they treated this council with disrespect, this government, and they treated the Cherokee people with disrespect. Certainly, if the governor of the state of Oklahoma came to one of our meetings, we would extend him the courtesy of letting him say a few words for a few minutes. That courtesy was not extended to the Chief of the Cherokee Nation. Make no mistake about it, the blame for that slight rests squarely on the leadership of the Oklahoma House of Representatives. And as we go towards the elections, when the politicians come to us and ask us for our support, all Cherokee people, we ought to take them to task and press them on, do they agree? Will they denounce how the Chief of the Cherokee Nation was treated at the state legislature? If they hem and haw, if they do anything short of denouncing it, I don't think we should give them their support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Hoskin. Any other comments?
I don't know what he really thought.
I'd like to recognize a Mays County resident, Mr. Paul Adair. He lived in Cedar Crest, and you were a World War I? No, II. He's a proud supporter of the Cherokee Nation. Any other announcements? It's been the motion for adjournment.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. You're adjourned.
Daddy got a call on you.